Hello everybody, my name is Christian Quick and welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be talking about the sapling block. And the sapling block is really interesting and I'll show you really much why. So let's call this the dark leaves, and we're going to call well, we're going to call it a dark and then sapling. Sapling is one P in it. I've messed this up many times before, so I just want to announce it to myself. We're going to call a new sapling block, and then a sapling block is going to require a generator. So let's say new sapling generator, and then this big mess is going to come out to haunt you. Don't be afraid of it. So first things first, let's try and this is null, and we're gonna need to make a mod configured feature. Um, but beyond that, that is practically all we really need to do is make a configured feature. And although we can already do this in a data gen, when we call it, it's going to be calling the code, not the data gen, and that's why we still have to do this using code. This only applies to sapling blocks as far as I'm aware, but beyond that, once we get through this process, I mean, you'll be able to do this with any sapling, and you can basically just copy and paste. So let us try and fix some of these problems here. So inside that last parenthesis, we're going to do comma, and then let's call the fabric block settings dot copy of, and then we will say blocks dot oak sapling, and then outside of that we can do comma and then mod item group, and then we can do dot mod blocks. Uh, uh-oh. I think there's supposed to be one more. There we go. One one more parenthesis after oak sapling, and then put a little uh, semicolon at the end here. Now, I'm going to compress this because I don't like how massively large this is, and so I'm just going to, every time that there is a new line, I'm just going to hit backspace, 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 and then actually get tree is where I want there to be a new one, but protected, overridable, nullable. So now this looks a lot better. This looks pretty good. If I kick that out of the way, it's shorter than some of the other ones that we make them because yeah, I mean it is what it is. But we are going to have to make that mod configure feature, and to do so, we're going to go into our HMH3. We're going to make a new package called world, and then we're going to make a package in here called feature, Feature, and then we're going to make one mod class called mod configured features. And then this is literally everything that we need, because basically what we're trying to do is we want the sapling to make a tree. So configured features, I would try and describe them as the puzzle pieces of what you're trying to make. I want to make a tree, right? So I need to know that I'm making, I need to put, not only am I saying, am I using the log, the wood as the log, and I want to use the leaves as the leaves, but I want to somehow form it, and we can do that in here. Um, and normally with configured features comes placed features, but if I'm placing the sapling, I'm placing it where I want it to, so it's going to automatically know that that's where it's going to be placed because I placed the sapling, so we don't actually have to make a placed feature in this context. The first thing that I always like to start with is the actual registries. So let's call for a public static and then we're going to call for registry key with a T on it, and then we are going to do configured feature with the FCF on it, and then we are going to do a question mark. Oh wait, no, you have to put in another little anchored bracket, question mark, comma, question mark, and then on the outside of that, we are now going to call for register key, and then we are going to need a string, and that string is going to need to have a name. Now, inside of this, we're going to return the registry key with the t on it, dot of, and then over here we're going to call for registry keys without the t, dot configured feature. Now we're going to do new identifier with the string ID that we had called for it, and this is going to be the HMH3 dot mod ID, and then normally we do this a lot, and then in addition we're just going to do name. Make sure that you call in the name, otherwise it will break when you try and load the data generator. Now that is one out of two methods basically. All right, and then the other one, this one looks a little bit more complicated, but that is perfectly fine. So we're going to have private static, and then we're going to have an anchor to bracket. We're going to call for FC, and then it's going to extends featured config, and then we're going to comma F extends, and then this one is just going to be feature, and then we're going to put the anchored bracket, put an FC in there, and the bracket, and then on the outside end bracket. So now this whole thing is being called. It's going to say, hey, there's an issue. It's going to probably say unexpected token or unidentified type. That is also another acceptable thing. And then if I say, not void, void register, I wonder if it'll say it now. Yeah, there it is, unexpected token. Um, and then if I put it, let's tap it here, and then let's put in the registerable with the T on it, and then we're going to call for configured feature with the FCF on it. We're going to call for the anchored bracket. We're going to question mark, comma, question mark, and outside of the two anchor brackets, but still within the parenthesis, we're going to write context, comma, and then we're going to call for the registry key with the T on it, and then we're going to do the configured feature again, FCF, and then once again, anchored bracket, question mark, comma, question mark, and then once again, come outside of that. Make sure you leave the anchor brackets, stay within the parenthesis, write key, and then we're going to do comma. Let's zoom out a little bit so that we can continue. And then we're going to do F, and then we're going to write feature, and then we're going to comma, and then FC, and call it configuration. Outside of this long and massive code, we are now going to basically make the return. So context dot register key, and then comma, and then we're going to do new configured feature, and then we're going to do feature, comma, configuration. Put a little semicolon at the end, and now we have the registries. If that was really complicated, don't worry. If you ever choose to make more saplings, you'll never have to do this ever again. They're already written. That's it. If you ever make a mod and there just happens to be more saplings, don't worry. I understand that that would be pretty difficult. So now let's make a thing saying what are we making, or what is it called that we're making. So we're making a public static final, and then we're going to make a registry key with a T on it, and this one's going to be called configured feature, the FC with the F, and then we're going to make another anchored bracket, question mark, comma, question mark, and then we're going to leave the thing, and this is when we're going to call what we have. So let's call it the dark key, and it's going to equal the registry key, and this is where we're going to call for our string, and we could just call this dark. Put a little thing at the end, and so now that is what we're going to be calling. So now, if we call for public static void boot bootstrap, and then here we're going to have the registerable, with the T on it. And then we're going to call for the configured feature, put some anchored brackets in there, question mark, comma, question mark, and then make sure that you leave the anchor brackets, do not leave the parenthesis, and then write context. Inside of here, we are going to write the parenthesis, and then here, this is where we are going to make our tree. Now, when we put it in what's called the bootstrap method, what the bootstrap method is going to do is it's going to take whatever we put in here and it's going to turn it into a data file. Now, like what I was saying earlier was that because we have this dark key here, if I actually go into mod blocks, and actually I can call this now the mod configure features dark key. This is the reason. This is the overall reason why we have to do this. Is because this is calling for the class file of your mod features, not a data file. But beyond that, we are still, now that it is calling for the file, the key is it exists, but it doesn't really know what to grab. So in the bootstrap method, that is perfectly fine. So from here, we can call for the register, and then let's say the context, and then let's say that we have the dark key, and then we're going to say feature.tree. So with this context here, we want dark key that we have, and out of all the configured features that exist, we want to make the feature tree. So how does one even make a tree? Let's tab this for a moment for just for now. Let's comma and then enter, and then we're going to make a new tree configuration dot oh, get rid of that for a moment. Dot builder, and that's where you want the parentheses. Let's have the block state provider dot of, and then we are going to say the mod blocks dot, and then this is going to be the log. So let's call for the dark log. Outside of that, we are going to comma enter, and then there is three things that is going to be called. So we're going to do the new, and this is going to be the straight trunk placer, and then let's say 3, 3, 2. These are numbers that you can play with if you just want the tree to look a little odd. Block state provider dot of, and then here we're going to do mod blocks dot dark leaves. So now we are basically saying I want the tree configuration, the builder, the block state provider, the log. I want the log to have to be the trunk, and then I want to give it basically these random heights. And then we have the leaves. So what do we want the leaves to do? So let's say we want the leaves to be a new blob foliage placer constant integer provider, and then we can do dot create, and then here we'll just put a little number in here. So let's say 2, and then we'll do comma, do it again, constant integer provider dot create, and then this one we'll put as 0, and then it's going to need a height. So let's say 4. Oop, outside of the thing, comma 4. I made that mistake in the past. We're going to do a little comma, and then the last one that we are going to do, so we can actually pull this back, we are going to call for a new, and it's called 2-layer feature size, and inside of that we are going to have 1, 0, 2, and it's upper size. And then lastly, to make your thing not explode, just do dot build. And then from here, I know I entered this, so from here we can call it back onto here, and then this is simply our tree. Now, the only problem right now is that our bootstrap is not being called, so it will not do that. And since we know that this is going to be changing it into the automatic, into data files, we need to call that inside of our data generator. Go in the mod data generation, and we need to add one quick little tiny method that is going to change everything. So let's do public void, and then this one is called buil builder registr builder registry, and then this one's going to be the opposite, registry builder, and then we're going to call it again registry builder, and then as soon as I hit this, it should get summoned with registry builder dot add registry registry keys dot, and then we're going to do configured feature comma mod configured features colon bootstrap, and then outside of this we can call a little semicolon. It's not called builder registry, it's called build registry. Yeah, there we go. I was wondering why it was gray, because it wasn't being used. It's called build registry. I got mistake because I knew that they were swapped and this is called builder. So I thought this is builder registry. No, it's build registry, registry builder. Cool. With that in mind, that is basically it for your sapling, and you can tell that the bootstrap is now being used. You can mess with all these numbers that are changeable, change them however you feel like until you find a tree that is absolutely perfect for you. If you want to make another tree, it is very simple. Just from here, you just have to Control D, and then you would call this your basically your new key, whatever it is. Take whatever it is that is your new tree, and then literally, if I just kind of come out here, and I come out here, if I just copy this, Control C and Control V, I would call this new dark key that new key that we had, and so now we would have it with our new logs and leaves and stuff like that. So with that in mind, that would be how you make a new tree. You once again find the settings and then go in your blocks, and then you would have to make a new sapling generator. So just like literally Control C, Control V, and then it's called dark sapling. But then if we called this whatever our new sapling was and then change it down here, this would be your new sapling. I went ham. Your new sapling, and then call this by its new key. With that in place, that would be literally all you would have to do to make a new sapling. So that we just did all the hard work of making one for the first time. A lot of firsts take a while because they have to be registered. They have to go through all this basically pain and suffering. Um, but now that we have the sapling and it's all registered, let's work on all the special things that it's going to be doing and stuff like that. So actually starting back with the loot table generator, we are going to Control D, and we are going to call this for the dark sapling. This would be so that if you break it with your hand, you'll get it back. That would be if it hasn't grown yet. And then let's go into the other ones. So for the major files. So from here, sapling is pretty simple. So let's go in the block states, and then here we can look up sapling, and then we'll get that acacia sapling. So we'll just drag it into our block states. We'll call this the dark sapling, and then here it literally has one block state, which is going to be HMH3, and then down here we're going to call it the dark sapling. Since it only has one model, the block model, that makes it also really easy. Models block, and then we can look up the SA sapling. I think I can just click this, and there we go. So block models in here, and then here it is going to be the not block. That's what kind of model it is. The dark sapling. And this is not getting registered in the data gen because this is a cross texture. So we are going to call this for HMH3. And then this is going to be the dark sapling. And it does have its own item texture because what happens is it's a cross texture. So it would look really weird as a block. So to fix that, what Minecraft has done is they just make sure it is it's not crossed anymore. When you look at it in your hand, you just literally you just look at the item in your hand, so as a layer 0. So HMH 3, and then down here, but it's literally going to be the same texture. So the dark sapling. Um, let us not forget the let us not forget the lang file. So let's go in here, and then we will make Control D, comma, sapling, and then we're gonna have a dark sapling. There we go. Alright, so that is going to finish the assets, so now we're going to have the datas. And remember how I said that for the leaves I wasn't going to add them yet? So let's add that now. So let's go into Minecraft and then let's look up inside, actually this would be in data, not assets. Data. This would be in loot tables, blocks, and then here let's look up leaves. Now, I'm going to copy the oak leaves just because I like them. Loot tables, blocks, and then here we're going to call them the dark leaves. I mentioned that we were going to do this in the last video. Control F. Let's look up the oak and then change it to HMH3 dark. So now they both should be working. Just exactly how the thing is. It's literally just changing the name of the thing. And then there isn't any recipes or tags that I can think of that they're part of, so we're just gonna leave it as is. Um, and then in the third video, we're gonna work on a bunch of stuff, but we still need a texture for this sapling. Hello, it is I, your editor. If you run that data generation after this and it works, congratulations, it works. A lot of things, the hardest thing to do is start. The hardest thing for me to do is to just get a new registry working and getting new things that I just haven't made before and get those things working. But then once they're working, you've unlocked a whole new level to Minecraft, whether it was large or small. There are still things that I can't do, and I don't work on them every day. I just kind of just work on other things and learn other things. So I'm basically going to end up with a list of things I can and can't do. And as my coding knowledge increases, um, there will be an increase of just knowledge that I have, which will make it easier for me to things. So like I go back to the things I couldn't do before, and then with the hope and intention that I could do them again. But if I can do it, you can do it. So, I mean, for the tutorial sake wise, anyways, that should be that should be the mentality of it. Um, but I mean, if you guys have any help, I mean, I have no problem with just simply just go on the GitHub. In the description, I always leave a description to the GitHub. If you literally just copy and paste the class files, literally all you'd have to do is name the class file, and then you know how like I go in Minecraft and I literally just select from the very bottom to the extends plus, um, or literally just the open curly bracket. Literally just copy it, send it, call it a day, and I would have no offense if you were to do that. As a matter of fact, it might as well be encouraged because I do it all the time in Minecraft. So you could say you're a professional coder like me. I'm not a professional, but I'm telling you, it works that way. Or at least for my experience, it does. But with that all in mind, hopefully I've given you some determination if you're having some tough times. But let's get on with the video. I'm going to change this to dot copy, and then we're going to do a blocks dot oak leaves, and then we're going to set the dot hardness to 1.0f. All right, so before you start the world, remember to run the data generation. So this is like the moment of truth. You should get at the bottom here, it should say world gen generated in here, and then it should have my configured feature dark. Perfect. It looks like it worked. So now let us run the client and then go check out our beautiful Minecraft world. Uh, So I did some mining off camera. Um, Sorry about that. Moving on. Let's slash time set. Oop, day, not that date. Stop. Oh my goodness. All right, it definitely has a hardness. So let's break a tree and then see if the leaf decay actually. Ah, there we go. It drops a sapling. There we go. And with our dark sapling, we're just gonna need a little piece of dirt to borrow. And now that we have some dirt in our inventory, let us take out and let's put it down here. Oh, if we noticed what happened was it's the sapling. The sapling when we place it has that black outline. We can fix that. I know we can fix that too. Because that is a very simple fix. It's very good to show when you forget something. It is Control D. It has some stuff on here, so the render dot get cut out. So we're gonna do dark sapling, and so with that cutout complete, that is done. That should be the sapling completed. This was also I know it was also another long video. We'll probably be fixing all the materials and stuff like that. Don't worry. Um, I just was trying to make sure that that loot table started working. I don't, if I think I could have probably make like dark apples too, and then we could probably do that. It's an item. It would just look it fitting with the dark logs and the dark sapling and the dark leaves. To have black apples, and then kind of like how like golden apples, they give you special effects. I could have a dark apple give different effects. Mm. That right there that right there is the coding brain taken off. But anyways, for now, that is going to be all for this video. So thank you guys so much for watching, and without further ado,